I have got something super cool for you guys today. The possibility to take remote control of almost any radio on the market as long as you can control it from your computer with rig control. Today I'll be joined by Casey K3 SBP to show you his incredible software. Stick around and we'll get right to it. So Casey, I greatly appreciate you joining me this evening. I'm really excited to have you on.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I'm stoked to be here.
So you reached out to me and introduced me to something that you've been working on, and my first thought was, A, is this cross-platform compatible? And you confirmed that it was. Right. And the big thing I saw with it was we can remote control any radio that I can connect to my computer.
Yeah, and this is what I think. Like, we're democratizing remote radio. So I sit here with my Flex 8600 on the screen, and I love this radio. It's great, but I also have a QMX. And, you know, with QMX, you have single sideband now with the recent firmware updates. And my thought was, like, why is the Flex special? Like, why can the Flex do these things? And obviously, it's an internet-connected radio. But before the Flex, I had a FT-DX10, and I love the radio. But to make it work on the internet, I had to have a home server and I had to remote into it from my phone just to play a little WSJTX. And it just was a pain. And I wanted to solve that problem for myself. And it just so happened that I solved it in a way that other people can use.
Well, I'm excited because you gave me a very short demo the other day, and I really want to dive into this tonight. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and share your screen and let's kind of show the viewer what you've built.
All right, you got it. Let me pull up Smart SDR for my rig, and then I'm going to pull up the app PotaCat.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, great. So here I am inside of PotaCat, and this is the app right here on my screen, and behind that is Smart SDR. So that's for my Flex radio, and you can see the pan adapter. I want to show you the reason I built this, first of all, which is when I would go and want to play POTA and hunt parks, I'd have to pull up on my other monitor the reverse beacon network, and then I'd have to pull up another window for POTA.app to see all the parks. And then I'd have to tune my radio. And I just struggled with that, and it took a long time, and I just couldn't squeeze in my park hunting very easily. So I built this app first for a one-click QSY. So right when you open up the app, it opens up in table mode, and here are all of the different spots. We can see that we have a couple DXpeditions here at the top, and then we've got other folks, just a couple in POTA because we're recording this Sunday evening. But if I click right here, you'll see my frequency. I'm set to 7.115.4 on my Flex. If I click this, I'm instantly now on that frequency. Maybe I want to go check this person over here on 20 meters. I click it and I QSY right to them. Now that
gives you an easy way just to quickly find out if you can even hear that station that's activating.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe you want to do CW, or maybe you're more of an SSB person. So on SSB, we can see that I've got a number of POTA spots that are available, and then you'll see the DX kind of roll in as well. But here I can click, and I jump over to lower sideband straight to 40 meters just with one click, and I can go work this park. So the way I do this is I kind of do a split screen, and I can look at my pan adapter and just see if I have a signal. And then the idea came to me of, well, if I'm in my car and I'm driving around and I want to listen to the radio, I'm going to hit that scan button. So that's what I have here, scan. If I hit scan, it dwells for a couple moments, and this is a pre-selected amount of time. And then after it dwells on that spot, it's going to automatically QSY to the next spot on the list. So that'll happen here in just a second.
And that is pretty sharp. And now, can the user define that time?
Yeah, in settings, we have a ton of settings that you can set, but dwell time for scan is very simple right here. I have a 7-second dwell time.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can also see some of the things in here like CW offset. So if you're doing an XIT, if you want to run a positive or negative XIT, you can add that in here. Your filter widths, all sorts of stuff. But we can talk about that in a minute.
Sure.
But the big idea for me is, like, let me sit back and tune into a POTA station and then hit scan and see if I can even hear anyone. I have a compromised antenna. I've got an NFET halfway hanging out my window. It's not great. So I can't hear everybody in the US, hear from Phillies. But if I can scan, I can sit back and I can see who I can hear.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, so on top of this, I wanted to build a map function. So here is the map. I'm super excited about this. Let me just flick a setting on. So instead of looking at just single sideband, I'll look at all modes. I'll look at single sideband and CW. and we can just see all of the spots on the map. So you can see my QTH here on the map is in Philadelphia, but there's someone here in Ontario. I can click, I can see who it is, and I can click to tune, and you see the arc line goes right there.
Oh,
So I just
right from the map.
right from the map. And this is a really fun way to see the DXpeditions. So we've got the DXpedition out here in Western Africa. I can click, straight tune, and then I can pop over to my pan adapter and see. I don't do so well over on 80 meters with my setup, but you get the idea. It is awesome and fast to see if you can even work a station.
That is pretty cool. So, and all of this just right there at your fingertips.
Yeah, right at your fingertips. And it merges different things together. So one of the things that you're going to want to look for is POTA spots. Maybe you're a soda hunter. Maybe you're a WWFF hunter or a LOTA hunter. Maybe you're just into DX. So all of those spots are right here. Also, if you're a CW operator, I've added the reverse beacon network in here as well, so you can turn that on. So if I call CQ right now on my radio and I get picked up by the RBN, instead of going to reversebeaconnetwork.com/main.php, I can just sit right here and see all of my spots come in to show me how far I'm being heard for the band conditions. So for me, that saves like a ton of time in open windows.
Yeah, absolutely. Having all of that in one screen or one display, basically, one application, that really cuts out a lot of extra work.
Yeah, and one of the things that got me the most excited was just to be able to see these DXpeditions, like learning about what these folks are doing, like the Bouvet folks that are heading out to Antarctica with the helicopter. It's like a $1.3 million DXpedition.
Wow.
I didn't even know about it because I wasn't following Club Log. But by pulling that data in, and I have DXpeditions pinned to the top under spots, if you want to keep them selected, you'll be able to see them. We pull them in from two sources, but you'll be able to see them and you'll be able to work them. You'll notice that I worked this station previously. That's why it's grayed out. But I worked it on a different day, UTC, but I did work it on 40 meters single sideband. So that's why it looks like that.
Okay. So it just lets you, it's a quick visual reference that you've already worked it.
Yeah, and there's some other things here that are visual references. So one thing that would frustrate me is I'm a general, and as a general, I'm limited on who I can talk to. I don't have access to the entire bands, like all of the bands, right?
Okay.
So I can come in here into PotaCat, and I can choose my class, my licensing level, and then I can just hide things that are out of band for me. So I don't even feel
tempted. That's a neat feature.
Yeah. I think that's a fun one. We've also got miles listed here. So you can see how far, you can see the distance here is how far a station is from you. But maybe you're the kind of person that also wants to see bearing. And we can go into the settings. And if you go down to the rotor, you can check the show beam heading. And then you can also do PST rotor control. So that's one click QSY and rotator turning directly to the spot that you want to work.
You're taking all the work out of it.
Yeah. And I think that this is an interesting point. So it's like some people are going to say, why would I want a one click QSY? Like, I enjoy spinning the dial. And I get it. I was thinking about this, Jason, before the call today. Like, when I go hiking, I don't want to know what's coming on a hike.
Right.
I just want to know, like, approximately how long will it take me? Cool, I'm good. Lock my car, go for the hike. I want to be surprised. I like that exploration. But also there's sometimes that I want to do something with a level of intent. Like, I want to play radio. I want to rack up a couple QSOs. I want to chase a new park. I want to chase a new operator. I want to chase in a different mode, whatever. I can do that here quickly and easily. And that's why I think that this is so different.
It is definitely different. Man, you have put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah, and we've got a bunch of like little things too that are fun. I need some more testing on this, but I've built out a CW keyer with the Flex Radio through the Halakey MIDI key. So I have that set right here. So if you're using a Halakey MIDI key, you can use this and you can throw your dits and das out like your fist. This doesn't get encoded into CWX. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you're not a Flex user, that's totally cool. But that's a fun one. And then for folks that use Smart SDR, so Flex users, or folks that use the Thetis app for their SDR, you can put the spots from PotaCat onto your pan adapter. So you can see right here, these spots listed. They're one-click QSY spots here on the pan adapter. I'm taking them from the internet to PotaCat, and then from PotaCat to Smart SDR. And what I thought was excellent is after I did this and I shut down Smart SDR and I went over to my Maestro and pulled up the pan adapter, you can see the spots on the pan adapter on my radio itself. So
that is neat.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty neat right there.
Yeah, but I want to talk about the remote radio. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. I think that's what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, so what makes the Flex awesome? Because the Flex is absolutely awesome. And you could say, well, the 8600, I mean, it's awesome because it can do multiple slices, it can listen to multiple bands at once, all this stuff. But really the thing that I think is so fun about the Flex is that it is a radio with the internet connected to it. It is literally a computer with a network card in it, and that is the radio. And on front of it, there's another computer, which is the Maestro unit, but it is inherently a radio with a networked computer. So my thought was, well, I've got a radio and I've got a computer with a network. If I can cat control the radio, could I just have a remote control from my computer? That was the initial idea. And with for the nerds out there, it's with WebRTC and through a VPN. I like Tailscale. It's free. All the stuff is free across the board. Free, open source, everything. Again, it's for Mac, Linux, and Windows. What I've been able to develop is a remote control to do single sideband from your phone to your home shack, controlling PotaCat that controls your radio.
And you can do this from anywhere that you've got an internet connection.
That's right. That's right. So if you're going traveling and you want to be able to work your radio from home, your radio that's at home or at your shack, turn your radio on your computer, have PotaCat live, turn it on and make sure it's connecting and has a cat control of your radio. And then you just open up a website, which is the IP address of your computer. I'll walk you through it in just a second and show you what it looks like. But that gives you full control of the radio, and it streams. It like tunnels in the SSB chat so you can listen to people talking, and then you can push to talk on your phone or on your iPad and talk right back to them.
All right, you got to show this to us.
All right, so let me show you what it looks like. I can show it to you on my phone itself. So let me just pull that up first so you can see it. Here it is. And I've got light mode and I have dark mode, and you can choose which one you want. So on my phone right here, I have it on light mode.
Okay.
On my computer, I'm going to show it to you on dark mode. So if I just hit refresh here, here's what it looks like on dark mode. You'll have to excuse some of the stuff on the side. This is the only way I could kind of think of how to show it.
No, it's fine.
But this is what your phone looks like. So right when you load into it, you'll see all of the spots that you could connect to. And maybe you're going to choose a different band or a specific band or a specific region. Like you want to hunt POTA just in Oceania. You can do that. If you want to hunt POTA just in North America, you can do that.
So all the filtering capabilities.
That's right.
Okay.
And POTA SOTA, WWFF and LOTA, and then DX clusters as well. You can also hide worked. And then we can sort by newest, by frequency, or by nearest. The reason I think that you'd sort by frequency is because you're going to have to tune your radio if you're jumping frequencies. I mean, it depends on your antenna setup.
Right.
But here we are. And if I pull this down just a bit, and you can see on my Flex, I'm on 7.037. Pretend that this is on my phone, and I click this spot. I QSY right to it. Now, I just hold down PTT, and it will key up my radio, and I'll be able to talk on my phone just like this. Just hold down PTT, and I can talk. I can say, Kilo 3 Sierra Bravo Papa, let it go. And there it goes. It tunneled my voice through my phone to my home shack computer, and it keyed up my radio and sent it out, and then I can hear for any conversation coming back.
Now, just for a little clarity here, though, you don't have to have a Flex to be able to do this. We can do this with absolutely any radio that you can cat control from a computer.
That's right. That's what I've tested. So successfully tested with the 710. We've tested with, a number of Yesus, a number of ICOMs. We've tested with the Anon. We've tested with the a few more. So we've got a ton of tests, and they work. If you can control your radio through PotaCat, and that's through an IP address, or it's through rig control, ham lib. I've got a number of different ways to connect your radio. If it can work that way, and we have cat control, then all you're doing to make this Echocat work is you're setting up a free software to tunnel the voice over to your phone. And then the second piece is you just have to choose your audio input and audio output on your computer before you leave the shack. And that way,
I think I even asked you about FL Rig, that if it worked with FL Rig, you said it was going to work.
Yes, exactly. If it works with FL Rig, it will work.
Okay,
and
perfect.
My big idea is I want to democratize this. This is so fun for me to be able to play radio while I'm out. And I've got Smart SDR on my phone. It's a $100 app, but it is a native app on my phone. There's a lot of utility to that. It's well built. However, it's an expensive thing to get into. So if you have a QMX and you've got the single sideband firmware on it, and this is plugged in, and you've got a USB-C coming out of it into your shack computer, and you set it up, you can do remote SSB from the car, from across the world on your phone, as long as you have access to the internet.
That is fantastic. Now, another question. You've shown just being able to click on these spots, but what if I just want to join my buddies on a particular frequency at a particular time? Can I just kind of freeband to that from the app?
Yeah, so we can just double click right up here, and you can say, I want to go to 14.025. Let me type it in again, 14.025, and then we hit the go button. I should do it 14.025. Is it like this? There we go. And then the QSY right over there.
All
and
right,
it's gonna,
perfect.
It's going to guess to go right now to lower sideband and upper sideband, based on kind of like what the band plan is. But you can also choose that. You could listen right now to CW if you wanted to, but you would have to do what is it called? Crossband? If I'm going to do SSB back to someone calling CQ on CW?
Oh, yeah, I don't do CW, so okay. That's a little bit above my pay grade.
Okay, sure. But this is currently its current iteration is only for single sideband, though behind the scenes I've been kind of itching to play with getting MIDI adapters. So I've got the N6 ARA tiny MIDI paddle that plugs in USB-C to the bottom of my phone, and that I will likely be able to tunnel that back to PotaCat. And depending on the radio, you might be able to do CW remotely, which to me is so exciting. That's the thing that I love to do.
That's going to excite a lot of the CW guys right there.
Yeah. And I think latency is important. So right here, if you see on my screen, my latency is showing at 1 millisecond, 2 millisecond. But that's because I'm on the computer. There really is no latency there. But when I'm on my phone and I'm off Wi-Fi, so I'm really treating this as if I could be kind of anywhere in the world, my latency is 35 to 55 seconds, something like that.
That's not bad at all.
No, it certainly is absolutely acceptable for single sideband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and when you're in PotaCat, I'm kind of playing back and forth, so it's kind of stealing the attention from my phone to it. But we've got the map as well, so we can still do one-click QSY on your phone to the map. So you say, "Oh, I want to go work the station here, J51A in West Africa." You can one-click QSY. I can do a log, and when I log, I can do a single call sign or multiple call signs. If it's a POTA, I can actually do multiple parks as they're comma separated. So if I talk to someone, if I make a POTA contact, they might say to me, "Hey, I'm going to pass the phone to my buddy Jason. He's here with me." So I'm going to put down the first ops call sign and then your call sign, Jason. And then you guys are like, also, we're at a 2 for this park and that park. I can double add it. And when I hit save on this, it will save back to PotaCat for logging. And let me talk to you about PotaCat logging.
Okay.
So the logbook in PotaCat is sophisticated. First, you can import all of the different logs that you want, anything that you've got. You got something from Logbook of the World. You've got a log that you want to import from QRZ. You got a logbook from somewhere else. You can import it in. You can also import all of your worked POTA parks. You can pull all of that in, and it can keep track of that. Then when we do a log inside of PotaCat, And we can do that with a hotkey, like Control L. When we save it, this adds to this logbook. The logbook is all editable with a double click. I can come back in and change maybe a frequency or maybe a signal report. And then if you're using a logger inside of PotaCat, I've got a simple setting here for send data to logbook. And this is going to work for N3 FJP, for logbook for OM, for Ham Radio Deluxe, for hammers, and for DX Keeper.
That's pretty sharp, because that was something I was thinking. You're going to kind of have an uphill battle if somebody's already locked into a certain logging software.
Yeah, and I've really gotten great support from Ham Radio Deluxe and from N3FJP. They've allowed me to get in. They've answered my questions when it came to how to pass over the log in the proper format, and it's been really helpful to kind of troubleshoot with them. So I'm really grateful for their support and being able to add those logbooks in. And we're using that with UDP. So I've got a kind of a basis, kind of chassis of UDP that we can use. And kind of the next level that I'm getting into is just more with WSJTX. So right now you can hunt POTA in WSJTX on the app on your computer. There's just work that I want to do to it to make it really delightful and easy. But I would say at this point, it definitely is a step above kind of the current way of having your logbook and WSJTX up and then POTA.app up. I just think that there's a way for us to make it even better.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. A couple other quick things I want to share is, like, right now, all year, it's the ARRL Work All States America 250. And if you want to track this, you just hit tracking. And then anytime one of the ARRL Work All State 250 stations shows up, it will pin it to the top and you can go work them. And then we've got a map for it. So let me show you what that map looks like. If I just go into my spots, you can see right here, I've worked Michigan and Arizona so far.
Okay.
And you can see all the others that I need to continue to get in order to get my ARRL, Work All States 250.
That's pretty sharp. Yeah,
similarly, I've built this out. I think the UI has some room for improvement, but if we look at getting your DXCC, so if you're the kind of person that wants to go chase DXCC, this is all of the different entities. And you can see right now in the logbook, I have 15 entities that I've worked across all bands, all modes. And you can see how close am I to getting my DXCC on 20 meters on CW. Well, I've only got 6 of my 100.
Okay. So it keeps track of a pretty extensive list of things that you can be chasing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a watch list in here as well. So if you want to do a watch list for a specific station, you can just add the watch list in here. Maybe you want to know every time that Josh, KS6NAZ, gets on, you can add him. And that's going to work by leveraging Ham Alert. So I've integrated with Ham Alert there.
Oh, so you'll even get an alert. So if you're tracking Josh, he goes out to a park, you're going to get an alert right here inside of this.
You'll get it here, and then also, so there's 2 ways to get it. You can get the sound notification. So there's a little bell that plays when one of your watch list folks comes online. And then the other thing that you can choose to get is a desktop push notification. Maybe that can flag you if you're working and you've got PotaCat up in the background and you want that notification.
That is really slick.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of fun. There was a comment that one of the folks on Discord shared with me. His name's Tyler, K0OTC. So this is what he said. He says, as of this morning, I'm number 41 on the top hunters for POTA. This dude's serious, right? He's like a big hunter.
You're right.
And he says, I've tried all the tips and tricks, browser extensions, and apps to help me hunt new parks. He says, what we have here with PotaCat is without a question the best set of tools for serious or semi-serious hunters. It gives him the ability to see everything in one place and work. And he said that if he wants to maintain his status as a top 50 hunter, when he's out of the house, he nees to be able to check his phone and see if anyone's out there and go work him single sideband. And
he is dead serious.
Yeah, he is serious. But I just think it's so fun. If it works for someone doing competition, and there's a level of ease and intuitiveness. To me, that's what I look for in software, is something that just works for me. And that's why I built this to be this way. So I'll say the hardest thing with this is just getting your rig set up. And it's not hard. Some rigs can be a little fussy. So in Discord, we've got a great community of folks that are sharing what's worked for them. I've got a bunch documented at the PotaCat.com website. Once you hit the download button, it redirects you to the rig setup page. But also, we've got a great community right now, 175 folks in Discord that are playing with PotaCat. And
Nice.
yeah, and if anyone has trouble getting their rig set up, all they have to do is come in and just ask, and I'm happy to help you get it set up. I just want to then ask you for kind of documentation and proof of what worked for you, so I can add it to the website so others can reference it.
Yeah, and we can leave links to all of that in the description of this video to make it easy for people to find.
Awesome, thank you for that. Yeah, I just have another quick thing I want to share is that when you're working someone, if you log a contact, and they are a POTA contact, one of the things that we do when we log is that we want to respot them. So we have a respot here. So you can respot your contacts on POTA. You can respot them on LOTA. You can respot them on DX. Even have, for the heavy users, a full DX terminal. I know for a lot of folks, this is more than they need. But here you are in the DX terminal, and I can ask for something like SHDX, send this in, and I can have it show me the latest DX stations that are live, and I can see everyone's comments about it. And I can send my own comments in. I can announce something. So if you're a DX chaser, and that's interesting for you, we've got the full terminal here, just like some of the great logging programs have.
Man, you have really thought of everything in this.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of feedback from folks kind of across the board. Some folks that are just POTA activators. I didn't even share this. If we go to settings and we click activator, we'll go into activator mode. So here I can type in US 12. Let's say I'm here at Topanga State Park. I click that. I choose my frequency. I choose my mode. I can start my activation. I actually KM4 ACK, and I just had a 5.9. It's showing me it's JSON. I can log it. So now I'm logged to JSON. I can also then see where you were. Right, this is a map. Yeah, that's you over here,
Right.
and this is me here in Los Angeles because I'm in Topanga.
Right.
But this will show the full thing. The full map. Afterwards, we can go to past. And we can share an image. So we can do like a full map export of what you did and then share a social image. So if someone wants to post what they've done on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, they can just hit share image. It saves that file locally. That functionality is the same on the phone view. We call that Echocat. It's kind of a play on PotaCat meets Echolink. So
Right.
Echocat. But you can then have all of your activations here, and these activations can then get pushed up to QRZ automatically if you're an XML subscriber. So a bunch of functionality is built in. And if, I love this idea too. Like if I'm working someone, I can do a park to park reference in here too. So we're really trying to think of like multiple call signs that you're working with a park to park reference, being able to log it, save it. And then also at the same time, maybe you want to see the spots because you're just not getting anyone to call back to you when you're working, when you're activating at a park, and you want to go run some park to parks on your own. So during my activation here, I can come over here, I can one-click QSY, and I can go work someone else. So we've had folks take their laptops with PotaCat installed on it with a with a mobile hotspot or something like that, so they're connected to the internet, and they're logging everything in PotaCat. And then I've had folks use just Echocat to do a full activation. And in the same way, we can do it here. If you're in Echocat, on the right, we hit activate, and we can do a full activation. Right here, as you can see, I'm actually at the Topanga State Park. It has taken over my desktop version's activation. So I can continue to add call signs and contacts in here and build that all out and save it. So I can do it on one device or the other, because ultimately this one right here, all it's doing is it's just saving everything back to my home computer. And in case there's any issues with internet or connectivity, there is a local, we do, I have it set to currently store the contacts for the logbook and to attempt it multiple times. So if your connection goes out on your phone while you're doing Echocat and saving logs, it still is potentially savable. So
Okay. So if I got back home, when I got back home or got back to an internet connection, it's going to sync back up at that point.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so trying to think of the different ways to really do this thing. Like What do I think? What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to democratize remote radio. That's it. I want to democratize remote radio. I don't want someone like when I had that FTDX10. I love the radio, but I'd have to go spend $300 for that SCU10 LAN device to plug my radio into to
Right.
give my radio internet. But I'm sitting next to a computer with the internet, so why
Right.
not connect the radio to the computer through cat control, through a well-documented cat control, through hamlib or whatever modality it is? Why not do that? And to me, that's just like the revolutionary kind of function of what we can do now.
Fantastic. Well, man, that's an awesome program. I think you have really packed a lot of features into this. And it'll be exciting to see, as more and more people get onto it, what else you can put in here like the CW.
Yeah, I think CW and I think WSJTX. I think those are the two things right now. And, obviously in great debt and gratitude to Joe Taylor for WSJTX because he has all of those libraries that he's posted. I've been kind of tinkering with it to see if we could ever pull that in, because how delightful would it be to be able to run WSJTX from your phone through your QMX or through your inexpensive radio at home. To me, that just feels like such a fun puzzle to solve.
That is pretty awesome. Casey, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate it.
Yep. You guys have a good night. We will see you on the next one. Until then, 7-3.